Breyers, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you've never seen any of my videos before. Today I thought I would be doing a little video on my reactions to the Breyerfest 2021 special runs that have been announced by Breyer over the past week or so. This year Breyer have done things a little bit differently, with it being an online only event again. They're showing us all the models in advance to help people make a informed decision on which sort of ticket they want to try and go for. So it means we've had a lot of models announced over the past couple of weeks, which is really exciting, but also a lot to process. So here goes, let's have a little look at what Breyer have lined up for us this year. Okay, so the first model that Breyer announced was this year's new celebration horse. So this is Dani. She's a gorgeous mare on the Cantering Warm Blood mould, and it's safe to say that this model is really popular already, and a lot of people are really loving her and saying she's the best celebration model ever. Sorry to Reggie, but I have to agree, I do think she will be stunning in person. Breyer look like they've put a lot of detail into all of her Appaloosa markings, and I honestly think she looks like she should have been a special run, or maybe a store special. She's that kind of quality, and it is possible that she probably was bumped up from one potentially after we lost the last celebration horse. We won't go into that, but I'm really excited for this model, and the fact that people get it free with their all access or VIP ticket is amazing. I can't wait to get my hands on her, and I love the mould anyway, but this is such a cool, unique pattern, and I look forward to hearing so much more about the real horse in real life. So the first special run that Breyer announced was this particular horse here, and this is Uffington, who is on the new Accolteche mould that Breyer produced for the Premier Club last year. He's been done in this kind of cremello, Polino type colour. And I've got to say, the more I've looked at him, the more I've fallen in love with him, to the point where he's now my top favourite of the special runs. One, I think the colour is fantastic. We don't get to see a lot of cremellos / polinos or dilutes on Breyer moulds very commonly. I haven't got the Accolteche mould yet either, so it'd be cool to have a new mould, and I think this one is particularly dynamic and interesting for doing some photography with, which is what I love doing with my Breyers. As well, I just think they've done such a fantastic job of bringing a different colour to the table, and that's what the theme's about. So I'm really in love with Uffington, and he is my number one at the moment of top picks for the special runs. Obviously I'm going to go through all of the special runs, but even though he was the first released, he has absolutely stolen my heart. I saw him initially through the grainy, leaked images that were on the internet, which wasn't so good. And initially was like, oh, really not sure on him. But the photos that Breyer have released, he looks so stunning. Looks like he's got some subtle pinking in various places on him and shading. So I'm super excited for him. I know some people probably might not like him because he's quite pearly in colour, and some people really aren't a fan. But for me, he is a big thumbs up to Breyer. Well done. I think he is a stunning special run, and as I say, he is my top pick at the moment. His name is Uffington, based on a landmark in the UK down by Oxfordshire, which is a big sort of chalky white horse in a sort of a similar running pose. So they've also done a really nice job of matching up kind of the pose and the theme. So he is just amazing. Well done, Breyer. Next up, and the second release that Breyer announced for the special run line this year, is the John Henry mould. Peshmerl is this model's name. So this is based off a cave painting, supposedly, of like a Appaloosa type horse, and so they've put it on a vintagey type mould and done it as sort of a blanket Appaloosa. I do really like the pattern on this horse. I think they've done a lot of detail on him, and his eyes look like they've been detailed as well. He is certainly quite striking to look at, but for me, I'm not a fan of the mould. I do have a John Henry, which is the Seabiscuit model I have, but the mould for me is quite lumpy, and I just can't gel with it. So I don't think I'll be looking to get this horse. I know he's a very nice pattern, but he's just not really my cup of tea in terms of mould. So for him, it will be a pass, unfortunately. Number 3 is this Peruvian Paso mould. This horse they have named Gran Cavallo, and I believe it is based off a drawing that Da Vinci did for producing a statue that was never made. So Breyer have gone with this kind of representation of that, which I find a little bit vague, but hey, it's it's a model horse event, so it's not too bad. Certainly for me, again, it's the mould that puts me off this horse. I do like that they've done kind of a Sabino type pattern. It is a bit more interesting than a lot of the normal colours we see again on Breyer moulds, but I just can't gel with the mould. I think there's something a little bit weird about its head, and it's just a no for me again, unfortunately. I'm sure a lot of people will like him. I know quite a few people who collect the Peruvian Paso mould, so I'm sure he'll be quite popular. But for me, he isn't my cup of tea again, so sorry Gran Cavallo, you will not be coming home with me. The next release they announced was another newer mould, so again another mould we saw last year in the Premier Club, which is the Frisian Sport Horse mould, and this particular horse is called Surat. This horse has been kind of a bit of a roller coaster for me in terms of how I feel about it. So they initially announced it and I loved it. I was like, yeah, I really want to get this one. This would be like my number 2 choice after Uffington. But the more I've kind of looked at him, the more I've kind of fallen out of love with him. I think it is just because he is fairly plain as the colours go. Like, he is just a sooty palomino-y thing with some dappling, and I do like him, but I just don't love him now. I feel like I want to see this mould in black as a proper Frisian, and then I will love it, because it'll be really similar to some of the Frisians I ride. One of the Frisians I ride, she really reminds me of this mould, so I'd love to see a black, normal coloured Frisian on this mould and as a regular run, then I would probably buy it. But I don't know if this horse, I like him enough for him to be on my top sort of preferences. I don't know, I feel like a lot of people will like him and a lot of people will hate him. He's kind of a love-hate mould, I get the impression. Same with the colour, so I haven't really made my mind up about him. Certainly we'll just have to wait and see till maybe nearer the time whether I decide to go for him or not. But as I say, initially loved him and now I've kind of preferred other models to him, so he's kind of a maybe for me. Definitely I think he's one of the plainer colours of the special runs this year, and I was hoping that Breyer might have done something a bit bolder with him. I even think Vermeer would have been like a better suit for this event, like if they'd done a spotty one for this event. I don't know, but for me, again, he's a bit of a maybe at the moment. So the next announcement from Breyer was that our surprise horse this year is going to be called the 7 Art Surprise. There are 6,000 of them, which is quite a high run for the surprise horse. And there've been quite a few different theories about sort of the mould and what the sort of surprise is going to be. My personal feeling is like maybe they will do 7 different colours. That would be quite awesome, and especially if they did them on like different colours that we don't see on normal Breyer moulds very often. That would be fantastic. So I'm really tempted to get a surprise horse this year. Initially I didn't think I would want one because I thought I would like some of the special runs a lot more than a potential surprise horse that I might not like the mould or the colour. But the more I think about it, the more I think it would be quite nice to have a surprise and join in the fun on like speculating what mould it's going to be and what colours it might be. So I think the 7 Art Surprise is probably going to be quite high up on my preferences, and who knows, I might end up going for one. But I can't really say much more about it because we don't know until it shows up at the doorstep what we're going to get. So that'll be a really cool one for July. Behind me we have another of the special runs, and this is the animal collectible that they do every year for the special runs. They always do one non-equine animal, and this year it's a bull called Knossos, based on a painting of a bull in Crete that I have actually seen this painting, so it's kind of cool. But I don't collect the bulls, I don't collect anything that's not equine, I just don't have the room for it or the interest in it. So as lovely as this guy is, and I think they've done a lot of work on him, he's like brindle with like splash paint marks and all sorts, and he is definitely sort of intriguing to look at. He's definitely not going to be coming home with me and will be literal bottom of the list. So sorry Knossos, you're not for me, but again I do know quite a few people interested in the bull this year, and I think it is one of the nicer non-equine models that I've seen. Here we have Tassili, again another special run for this year, and he is on the Marwari mould. I find this mould, is quite, like, I like it in some colours, and then other colours I'm not too bothered about it. I would say this colour I'm not too bothered about it, and I think it's also because he is a glossy model. I know some people really like the glossy, so I expect this guy will sell quite well. But for me, I again like to take photos of my models, so I don't find the glossies picture very well in them, and he's not like a mould that I'm in love with, so I don't think I'll be getting to Silly at all. He's not on my top preferences at all, but I do think he is a lovely model and that people will really appreciate him in their herd. I do think they've gone for quite a nice little pattern with the chestnut pinto, but it's not super out there for horse of different colour. It is fairly safe, but everyone's got their own personal taste, so I think a lot of people will like this horse with him being the only glossy in the lineup this year. Okay, here we have the Decorator, and I think this is what everyone was kind of picturing when we got the theme horse of a different colour last year. Big, bright, bold colours for the Decorators, and they definitely haven't disappointed. This is Pollock, the Allegro Decorator that they have announced this year. And I've got to say, I am not a Decorator person, but I am really tempted by this horse. I think it's the mixture of the colours on him with the gold spots, the gold hooves. He will stand out on shelves, on mantelpieces, wherever you pop him. I can see him being a really cool, eye-catching piece. He does look glossy as well, actually. I'm not 100% sure if he is or not. I'll have to read the post again. But his colours really pop, and I know that the rainbow horses have been super popular, so it makes sense that Breyer would do another kind of rainbow special run. And they definitely think he's going to sell because they've made, I think, 2,000 of him, so he's one of the highest special run amounts. And the reaction on the internet has been really positive to this horse. I know a lot of people really want him as their top pick or their second pick, and I've got to say, as I say, I'm not a Decorator person, but he is really tempting, and I think it is just the combination of colours they've used are so bright and eye-catching. So I would say he is a horse I love from the lineup this year. I don't know if I love him enough for him to be top 2, and I'm only going to get 1 ticket, so I'm only going to be able to get 2 of them, the special one, sorry. But I've got to say, Breyer, I love him. You've done a good job, and certainly I think you will sell the full 2,000 of this horse, judging from the reaction on the internet. Last but certainly not least, we have Ansel here, who is on last year's Premier Club Morgan Stallion mould. Again, another brand new mould for the Breyerfest special run lineup, which is quite unusual. They usually use sort of 1 or 2 of the Premier Club moulds, but I've never seen them use all 3 in a special run lineup, so that is really awesome. Ansel is based on a photographer who takes black and white photos of landscapes, so they've gone for sort of a blue roan pinto colour, which is really awesome as they don't typically do blue roans, and especially blue roan pintos, that often, and blue roan is one of my favourite colours of horse, so I am really tempted by this horse. I think he is up there on sort of towards the top of my list, and I did see some images of him in hand when Breyer announced him via the Facebook page they've got. And he did look super stunning. It looked like he had some really nice shading on his muzzle, and then he's got sort of the 2 white socks, and I do think he'll look really nice, especially under saddle and in performance setup. So yeah, for me, I do think he is a winner. I've still yet to figure out sort of which way round he's going to go in the preference list, but I do think, again, he will be super popular. So he's probably going to sell out fairly quickly, I imagine, with the special run line. I know a lot of people have put him sort of towards the top of their list, so he's going to be a popular one this year, definitely. To round off, I think it'd be fun to rank my preferences based on how I currently feel about the Breyerfest special runs. So number 1 is Uffington. I don't think that will change between now and July. I absolutely adore the concept of this model, and he looks stunning, so please, Breyer, let me get Uffington. That's all I ask. Number 2, I would say, would be either Ansel or the surprise horse. I still am trying to make up my mind on this one. Ansel here would be a safe bet because of his colour and his mould. I'm sure I'd love him. Whereas the surprise horse, there is a chance I might not like the mould or the colour. However, it would be kind of cool to have something that I have no idea what it is before I get it, and not until I get it on my doorstep will I know which variation it is. Number 4 would be Pollock. So Pollock the Decorator, I think if I got him I would not be disappointed. He's beautiful and would have to live somewhere like really obvious so I could admire him every day. Number 5 would be Surat, the Frisian sport horse, Palomino. I do like him, I just feel he's kind of plain and been overtaken by some of the other models, but again wouldn't grumble if I had to get him. Number 6 I would say is Tassili, the more wiry. Number 7, Gran Cavallo. 8 would be Peshmerl, and 9 the bull, just because I don't collect on equines. So at the minute that's how my preference list is looking. So what I'd love to know is, what is your favourite horse from this year's special run lineup, and your least favourite? How many tickets are you planning on getting to try and get special runs this year? I know I'm only planning on the one, but if you want to let me know any of that kind of stuff, I love looking at comments and chatting to people about Breyerfest. I'm so excited for this year, so definitely let me know what you think in the comments of these models. I am going to be doing another similar video once they've released all of their limited editions models, which were the previous store specials and pop-up models. So look out for that on my channel, and if you did really like my video today and are wanting more Breyerfest videos, please subscribe. It would mean the world to me. I love making YouTube videos even if no one watches them. Take care now. Bye bye.